Definitely excited to play against Leviatán. Facing Rossi, I would say the other guys on the team have more stake into that game than me, but I'm definitely excited. He's one of my friends, so it's going to be a great match. He's a good player.
On C9, I was very, very hands-on, so I don't think there's going to be much mind game unless I'm mind gaming against myself. Easiest way to lose is to overthink and to go deep into those mind games, so we're just going to keep it simple and do our thing, and I'm going to do what I know is best for myself and for the team.
Sacando una ronda y Rossi, papá.
I would say our playstyle is very disruptive and aggressive and confident, and theirs is very similar, so it's going to be a brawl, honestly, and we'll see what happens.
Getting net out of heaven, he has been a problem for NRG, and he'll continue to terrorize them.
For the match against C9, I don't have any hatred towards them. They had an issue with me, I don't have an issue with them. So yeah, may the best win.
Welcome back to VCT Americas and our final match of the week, Leviatán versus Cloud9. I'm Zoe, back on the desk together with Sean, Gareth and Wyatt. But before we're digging into this one, we have to talk about it. We have to talk about what just happened on that stage. Why didn't you predict him this week? Why you could have been a genius?
No, I actually believed too early. Like,
glue is gone.
You peaked too early. Yeah, you just missed it by 1 week.
Two goats have arrived.
They left the glue factory. Yeah. They're actually back. That I don't even know what to say. All of the little minuscule win cons that we had to sell to the audience as a dream. They actually they all played
They're dreaming. Everyone's dreaming out there now. No, but this is like that was just so important for so many individuals on that team. LZ's one I'm looking at here. I mean, being put into that position is so very difficult. And he did such a phenomenal job. You could see the relief on his face right after the match was over.
Yeah. I mean, he deserves it. He deserves all the credit in the world. This guy played out of his mind mechanically, like as an individual. And then he brought a game plan that looked very good. We expected something scrappy, like a double duelist.
Yeah,
he brought legit comp today.
I was scared when they deviated to the meta comp with Yoru Breach Taeho with the Vice.
How did they win it?
There are so many moving parts with that comp.
Yes.
They've been practicing together as a team like 1 day or something, and they made it work. It's crazy.
I don't even want to give credit to one person, though, because I feel like PXS came in and played out of his mind. The 1-on-2 on Pearl and B site was insane. Askia also came into this team when Prize left, playing out of his mind on Yoru. It's just all clicking.
Yeah, so many changes, new pieces, and they made it work, and in what a fashion they did it. Very exciting stuff. I'm very interested to see how this is going to play out for them for the rest of the season. Now, let's focus on the match at hand and talk about what we got here, because this is another good one. It's a grudge match. I'm so excited for this one. Rossi will get an opportunity to face off against Cloud9 that dropped him, and I have to say it, very unceremoniously during the off-season. Like, that was a surprise to people, to him, I'm sure, too.
The entire scene.
The world.
It really did.
It was insane.
It's the most I've seen this scene, respectfully, care about Cloud9. Like, people were outraged about this
and they
to
had
a crazy extent.
That off-season game that Rossi played with Cloud9, after they boot camped in Korea, right? He spent the whole month with the team in Korea. He top fragged the tournament, rating-wise, on the initiator role while IGLing. And then they were like, nah, we don't need you.
Yeah, he's not a good fit, though.
Yeah, not a good fit.
Not a good fit.
And that was just mind-blowing.
And to their credit, it's actually worked out. They're playing very well. They look like a very consistent, reliable team at the moment. And so they ended up making the good decision. Just one of those situations where it's not an indictment of Rossi's skill. No. They were just genuinely correct in that he wasn't the right fit, despite that skill.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you can be the best in the world if it doesn't fit the team for whatever reason. It just doesn't fit. So it hopefully works out for both sides, because Rossi now obviously on that Leviatán squad who has to make it work over there. I loved the little video we just saw for that match introduction. He was so sassy.
Yeah.
Spicy.
That's a good one. So seemingly he's chill. He seems to vibe with the team.
Listen to their comms in the offseason. Did you get a chance to listen to their comms in that offseason?
No, I didn't listen to the comm videos.
He basically had all of the info funneled towards him and was microing everyone. He was calling high lows. We should 3-2-1 swing this together. He was also calling macro stuff like initial game plan and what we should do when the other team is eco. And he had full control. I was blown away. And then when they got rid of him, I was like, maybe he had too much control. Maybe he had too much of a say. And that is a flaw in VALORANT. You want a lot of people bring in ideas from all over because there's so much variance. There's so many things happening on the map at once that there's a bogged down delay in things if it all goes through Rossi. But I don't think that should be the problem with LEV because King has IGL'd for a long time. So they have multiple voices here.
What were your thoughts on the performance then from just last week?
I thought he led the team really, really well. I think people are very low on them right now, actually. The initial first halves, I like the looks that they gave, and the Icebox half, particularly on attack, if you go back and watch that, they were innovating. Like, I actually was impressed by like 5 rounds.
They were the first team I think we've seen in Americas bring something new on Icebox.
Yes.
Everyone else is traditional comp or the Harbor comp.
Yes. They struggled with other things like putting players on new roles. I don't think Demon 1 looked very good on controller. I'm not going to lie. I don't think King had his best game. Maybe his worst game I've ever seen King play.
He has been a phenomenal player for years at this point on this LEV roster.
Yeah.
So reliable. Yeah, such an outlier game from him. I really think that this team are paralyzed by options. They had too many great flex players. Eventually, I think they'll land on something where all of the moving parts are perfect.
They say eventually, the clock's ticking.
Yeah, I mean,
the stage is very short if you're really looking at it, so every single match does matter.
But so we're in this double initiator meta right now, and they have 2 very good initiators in Rossi and Calm. I got faith they can bounce back. I really do.
Well, they can prove it today. Now, earlier today, Riv got to chat with Coach Imi to talk about having to play against the team's former IGL. Let's hear what he had to say.
I'm here with C9's Amy to chat for a moment before the game. There was quite a bit of community backlash with the roster change from Rossi. Do you feel like there's any kind of pressure to win today or make sure that you prove everyone wrong?
No, I don't think there's any pressure. Haters are going to hate if we win. If we lose, that's what they do. They hate.
Where's the confidence coming from?
I mean, just don't care. We have our team. I don't care about Rossi. He's not my problem anymore. I'm glad he found a team, but it's got nothing to do with me.
Amy, thanks. Good luck today.
Excuse me?
That was unnecessary.
That was pretty, that was pretty spicy.
Not my problem
I like the fit. He looked like an extra on The Sopranos with a gold chain and the polo. The white polo with the chain. I don't know.
This just sounded like a response who's absolutely over getting blasted from the community. Because you said it before, like it was almost unproportionate the way they reacted to that. I don't like Cloud9 were literally the villain heading into the stage.
He's been over talking about that. I remember in Kickoff, Riv did an interview where he had to ask the same question because you have to ask it. Yes. And then he's like, well, that's the 14th time I've been asked this in the last 2 months, and
yeah, eventually you're over
it's going to work, and I don't care and don't want to answer this anymore.
Honestly, I'm vibing with that. The amount of time I've been asked how it is to be a woman in esports is entirely too many times. So after 19 years of that, you kind of that's your response at the end of the day. Like that's what you're going to say then.
You also have to empathize. This guy's used to interviews after map 1, and Cloud9 never starts series well in map 1. So normally, he's getting like rinsed by the community. I swear, he is one of the most like strategic coaches we have out here, but he gets rinsed because of how this team plays in map 1s week after week. So he's
just like last week.
So over
Let's talk about that because last week they had their opening match against Energy and they went down. Initially, people started to be very hype on Energy, but then very worried and concerned about Cloud9. However, they brought it back, and once again, they did it on the back of Zeppa having his second lifetime game. I don't know how many lifetime games one can have, but this is the second time, and again, it was against Energy, funny enough.
And again on Fracture, specifically. For some reason, that is just Zeppa's home map. That clutch from Vic was vile. Dude. That shouldn't be happening. The random flick one tap through the cage, and then in the meantime, I can't remember who that was, Ethan just couldn't get the spray connection, and then they get out to this big lead on Pearl. That was crazy.
Dude, Zeppa, he's hit off-season form. Off-season plus energy in parentheses. Like, this guy is on fire. If Oxy plays like Oxy of last year or the year prior, this team could literally be in Toronto.
I feel like we haven't even seen that yet. They haven't even needed Oxy to go nuclear.
It's like he's their secret weapon in the back pocket. It's like Holy Trail. Then it's again Oxy go kill, which used to be the strat. But it's great to see for this year's roster that this is not the only thing they can rely on. Like they have other people who can shoot.
Yeah.
Even IGL, Mitch is a shooter. I don't think people give Mitch enough credit in the IGL role. This guy has been playing for a while now, but the way he leads the team, he's got like kind of a more passive voice, makes everyone feel good about themselves, and he allows, you know, the players to make big comms and big plays in the moment. He's like a player's IGL, and I really like watching his teams play because you get the freedom from the players, and this team will excel in that kind of system.
Yeah, really, outside of Oxy, I think all the individuals on this team are underrated to some extent, and Zeppa, the man on the screen in the offseason, was crazy underrated. People were calling for his head in the offseason, and he has turned up.
What? This is everything.
That's so good.
Yeah, incredible. The aura. It's with us today. No, I mean, the vibes are obviously good. They're starting things off really well this stage, and during the win over Energy, Net was hype as well from round one, just yelling across the stage, bringing the energy.
I've loved watching Net. I think he's really transformed himself as a player since being on G2 at the start of VCT last year, gets cut, goes back down to Challengers to compete with M80, had a slow start, then started heating up, and now on this Cloud9 team, I think has really found his form. He's been fantastic in these situations where he's cutting off players on rotates when they're on attack. He always has this sense for picking off flankers from the other team. He has been a rock. I'm really blown away by his play at the moment.
Yeah, he's a very cerebral player. He makes great comms. Not decent. This guy actually can IGL. He IGL'd the defensive half for M80 all of last year, and he probably is having a huge impact on this team as well. I've had him luckily on my teams in ranked. This guy's like a hard carry. He never stops talking. He is an excellent player. To have on your team, he rounds out this team so well.
I mean, overall, this team is looking good. They're looking happy. They're looking on fire. They're on a good trajectory. And we're not sure which version of the players we're getting today. But, you know, everyone can shoot, so I'm not worried at all. Now, if we're looking at the other side, though, LEV, they're coming into this with a lot of big changes, role swaps. Like, it's just, there's a lot going on there, a lot of moving pieces. How confident are we with the current rendition?
Honestly, I was ultra confident in them coming into this stage. They have raised concerns for me. I'm not ready to jump off of the bandwagon just yet for this team because I do really believe that they have all of the pieces to have one of our top Americas teams that can qualify for international events. But it's going to be difficult to put the pieces in the right places because they literally have too many options with this squad. They can try so many different roles, and it's going to be tough to iron things out, but I do believe they can get there.
I agree. I think they can get there. And like I said, we're in this double initiator meta, and they have two insane initiators in Rossi and Com. They have players that will communicate and be proactive with util, create new util that the rest of the scene hasn't seen. They'll cook up all plays left and right. That's what they're known for. What they really should be focused on is getting Demon 1 situated on like a solo Viper icebox role. It worked last week because they just hit A, hit A, hit A, hit B, hit B. But when it comes to timing your wall and, you know, your toxins, I guarantee you Demon 1 isn't on a pro level right now that we should be seeing in VCT, but it'll come with time. Mechanically, he is incredible, and I have immense faith in them.
I think everyone has faith in the individuals. Yeah. What I have faith in is the emotions, all right? I'm here for the drama, I'm here for the storylines, I'm here for the grudge match. So let's hear what Rossi had to say ahead of this one to Rift when they got together.
I'm here with Leviatán's Rossi before their matchup today. A few questions for you. First off, you know, takeaways from week one now that you got that VCT stage game under your belt.
I think the key takeaways from the week one was just learning more about ourselves because we're relatively a new team, but also just understanding what we actually need to do because both maps, we had like one good side, one bad side, so we're just really just polishing the weaknesses in our game, and that's really about it.
And how's it been IGLing for the new squad?
It's been good. I mean, it's much different compared to my last team because I have a lot of experienced players. You know, I have 2 world champions, and these guys made top 3 last year as well. So very high experience team, so it's a little different, but overall pretty similar.
Final question, got to ask, any added pressure going against C9 today?
No, sir.
All right, Rossi, thank you so much. Good luck in the game.
Right on. He sounds so confident and so relaxed, but you know that's a good mindset to have.
I like that. I like him giving the flowers to the team as the experience. That lets me know that they're having a lot of extra things coming in from the outside that he didn't have on Cloud9, which I said he was more like a dictator on that team. I don't think it's like that here.
Yeah, probably not. And like you mentioned, with King IGLing for that team for so long. Also appreciate when we had some of the listen-ins with Lev last week, he was keeping the vibes up. It looked like they were having fun the whole time.
Yeah, he actually kept it positive.
They were having a good time, despite losing, you know?
Well, you know what? The audience is keeping it positive as well. Let's bring the teams to our stage right now. Looking at Cloud9 here first as they're taking to the stage. They kicked off stage 1 with a victory against Energy. Zeppo having an absolute lifetime performance once again. We know this team can shoot.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see more from these guys. I do feel like they're going to have a high level of consistency this year. I think they're a legit dark horse. And when you're looking at the 5 players there, I'm just seeing underrated sleeper picks from challengers that the community doesn't give enough respect to yet, but eventually they're going to have to.
Yeah, I see a team that actually has a lot of similarities to, say, maybe like another NA team like 100 Thieves, right? They play with a lot of aggression, a lot of confidence. They have young players. Again, I think Oxy is the star piece of this team. We haven't really seen him shine as bright as he was in the past, but I think that happens today.
Well, they will be going up against Leviatán, which is coming into stage 1 with a bunch of changes. Role swaps, new IGL and player in the mix as well, namely Rossi, who I'm sure is feeling extra motivated to go up against his former team.
I'm super excited to see what these guys can bring in another match. I'm curious to see if they want to swap things up, if they feel like that was just a bad day. We were talking to Dre earlier, and he felt like watching back that game, it literally just came down to they were not winning duels. They were not in form. I wonder if they feel that way, or if they feel like they need to go back to the drawing board.
Yeah, and that's going to happen, right? When you take these heavy mechanical aimers. And look at everyone on the screen right now. These are aimers. These guys can shoot. But when you put them in these supportive roles and make them think util first, sometimes they're going to have duds like that, like what we saw last week where they were just absent in 2 of the halves. If they can piece that together, if they can really drill down their game and make sure everything is understood ahead of time, this team should be feared.
All right, we got the map picks. Curious to see Cloud9 taking us to Split. This is the first time that they're actually playing the map this year, and they picked it into Lev, who just lost it last week. So assuming they feel they're going to have the ability to anti them with ease, they weren't impressed by what Lev were doing, and whatever they've got cooked up will be a complete surprise to Lev.
Yeah, and Lev last week ran the Breach Teo on Common Rossi. I believe they ran the Yoru also on there. King. And King, he was missing kills that I would normally say are like gimmies for this guy. He is one of the best players in our region, and he was set up for kills. There's no way that happens again. He will not play as bad of a game as he did in week 1. The question is whether they keep him on Duelist, because like you said, they have a wealth of options.
Yeah, they
have so many things.
Really do. They really do.
Oh, wait, he's on Viper last week.
Okay.
Okay, I was like, wait a second. Demon 1 was on him.
Already getting too excited.
I got excited.
No, and to be fair, they did have a solid defense. It was just on attack, they completely fell flat. So that's really the area of improvement they're going to need to have right now against C9. Excited to see more from Calm as well. I mean, when we're talking about this team, you can't ignore the fact that they have world champions. They have players that have been to multiple Masters / Champs international events in the past versus a team with primarily challengers players that just came up. There is an experience diff.
The mirror comp, Wyatt. Oh, this is actually one of my favorite plays, actually, to pick the map that the other team played the week prior, anti-strat them to death, and literally run their own strats against them.
Just steal what worked and anti what was trash and just own them.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it.
200 IQ play from Imi coming in.
I'm not mad at it. You have to keep your eyes on King here. They haven't adjusted. He's got to step it up on the Yoru. He's got to hit those shots that he was missing last week.
I'm excited for this one. We're going to see the mirror comp on our first map. Let's see how this one is going to play out. So let's send it over to your casters. It's Duck and Dre.
Thank you so much, Zoe. I think when we think about this series and you think about Cloud9 playing against Lev, Dre, I would say, and I think the talent predictions would agree, that Cloud9 are favored in this match. Maybe slightly, but they are favored in it. But we've got to talk stats. We've got to talk history. Since the beginning of Stage 2 last year up until today, Cloud9's record against teams named NRG, 3-0. Perfect record, right? They're farming NRG. Any team not named NRG, they're 0-6 against. The last team that Cloud9 beat that was not NRG in VCT was MIBR, and that was May of 2024.
Yeah, that's an absolute ridiculous stat, by the way. And just to talk about Cloud9 expectations as well is, last year, Stage 1, they were 5-1. And you want to know who one of those teams were that they beat? Leviatán. Let's see if history will repeat itself here on this first map of Split. Cloud9 are taking complete B main control against King.
That's a great start for Lev, man. Sean was talking about it. There's no way King has another abysmal performance like he did last week. It doesn't get much better than that to kick things off.
Yeah, and as things slow down a bit, I would like to talk about that, because sometimes when you're on a new role, it's not even your fault. You're just not comfortable enough. And I think this match right here is going to be a big test to Leviatán to see if they're getting a little bit more comfortable on these, wacky roles that people are talking about. The pivot from sewers to A site right now. King, the power of the Yoru is you could be two places at once. It feels like he's going to be here to fight at A as well. Tex, he's such a great anchor. Let's see what Cloud9 can do to test the defense of Leviatán.
Both side by side. The spit's gonna hurt a little bit. You've got the stun coming out as well as King. Looking to find a little bit of space from up top. Dropping Mitch, not able to connect on the second as Cloud9 are getting a little bit of space. They're getting a little bit of room to work with here.
Spam kills from Vic into heaven. Now the numbers go the way of Cloud9 somehow. Rossi and Demon One are left on this retake. You do have Paranoia, you do have the fault line, Doug.
Can the new leader for Leviatán snatch this pistol away? Will Demon One close by? Was a household name in VALORANT. He's gonna get an opener. Oxy will fall too. That's the pistol for Lev.
And that's a pistol round one. Something that Leviatán couldn't do at all in their last matchup against MIBR. They won no pistols, Doug. So already having a stronger start.
I think you mentioned Leviatán there very quickly. I want to talk about their expectations as well, because we've touched on Cloud9's, and again, a great pistol for Lev, being able to convert that 2v3. All of the conversation around Lev has been, this project's in trouble, right? Demon One's not the player he once was. They have role issues. There's an abundance of options. How do they make them work? But you got to look at who they've played against and who they've lost to.
Yeah.
They've lost to MIBR twice, and they've lost to G2. Two teams that right now feel like they're going to be competing against the best of the best in the world. So where are Leviatán in the pecking order truly?
I mean, I think they're a lot higher than people rate them. Even if you watch the game, yeah, they kind of got blown out against MIBR, but the macro was really good. Rossi calls phenomenally for this team of Leviatán, honestly. It's just the execution that was lacking and the comfortability in terms of their mechanics. MIBR were just sitting them down in trap plays. That's usually supposed to go in your favor. So if Leviatán could just have a little bit more confidence, a little bit more firepower behind their traps, Cloud9 need to be very careful.
Yeah, you can make the argument that those two losses are quality losses. The thing is, as Zoe was mentioning on the desk, it's a short runway. You don't really have a lot of time to afford some quality losses or not. You've got to convert. That's the pressure Leviatán are facing here. So far winless in stage one. Speaking, yeah, it's an eco, but crispy out of Demon One so far.
Yeah, confidence kills for sure. I mean, amongst all that utility, he's just sitting in the open. He's getting 4 now. Oxy, he's gonna drop here too to Max. Demon One cleans it up. Beautiful headshots from him, and you know it's gonna be a dangerous, dangerous game when a player like Demon One is getting fired up so early on. He's sitting at 5-0 right now, and he's able to upgrade to a Vandal. That being said, that was just an anti-eco round. Doesn't tend to go in your favor most of the time. Cloud9, they do cook up a lot on rounds like this, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that looked better the second time around.
Yeah, it did.
El Diablo's dead. There's a new king of hell.
Cloud9 with full rifles. And a quiet approach towards A.
Yeah, and look at the defense right now. The power of the Yoru is he has a TP all the way towards screens at A. Maybe he opts not to take it because you could just rotate through mid, but it's going to be a retake for Leviatán here on the A site. It's a pretty healthy buy from them as well.
Again, a spam kill for Vic. Just like the pistol.
And that's the IGL down as well. That's all the breach utility down now too. So the retake, it's going to be significantly weaker for the side of Leviatán. Cloud9 are in a really good position here in the post plant to close this round out.
I think that good position just got better. Comms using his salvos, doesn't have that to play around. The stun is through as well.
Oh.
Vic getting a little taste of his own medicine. 4v4 still in play. Mitch and Zeppa alongside Net, trying to do their best to keep them back, and you were trying to flush Net out from main, and it just doesn't work out.
Yeah, just damage now for King. Make the economy bad for Cloud9. He's done just that. He's going for more. Net, the armor's gone. I mean, pretty good from Leviatán to destroy the economy of Cloud9 on this round win. Cloud9 are, you know, not afraid of going light armor and buying into things, and maybe that's what we're going to see right here. But still, Leviatán have a really strong start so far. Cloud9 had a good post plant.
It's an op round 4.
Look at that stat too. Cloud9 are 3-0 against Leviatán, all time in VCT.
I mean, they haven't played in forever.
And by the way, keep in mind, they beat Leviatán with Aspas.
We mentioned the op at the beginning of the round. All eyes on King.
He was a little shaky with it in the previous matchup.
That's a little micro flash. That's not really hitting him.
Yeah, I think Vic has an idea that he might be posted up on this angle, though.
You would think so. Mitch still has a stun. That means he didn't use it to clear that at the beginning of the round.
Heavy utility invested to take control of vents. Now, Leviatán, they like to do a lot of re-clearing with utility of themselves. It's going to be a focus towards ramp right now. And that allows Rossi to pivot and hold that vent.
Keep a close eye on the TP that King just dropped. It's not going to get him super far, but it will help some of the early rotations if it's a scurry back A. Now, Cloud9 are in a position where they can still flip the map. If they don't like what they see A, they have enough mid control that they could end B. But they're doubling down. They're digging their heels, and they want to end A. And so far, so good for Cloud9. Great response from Rossi, though, onto Vic. Flashed by a little bit of time, and he's going to connect on another. Falls at the hands of Oxy.
30 seconds
but now with
left.
2v2, the spike, or excuse me, the op arriving at the scene. And it's quiet on the way out, not taking the bait of the tap now. The second time is confirmed. The op, excuse me, the ult pulled instantly. King in a brutal spot. How do you win this out? You can't.
Sean was talking about off-season form from Zeppa. The reaction time right there to be able to get off the spike and actually commit to that flick and hit it is so impressive. That is a testament to what Sean was saying. The mechanical skill, the form that Zeppa is in right now, it's part of Cloud9's recipe for success. I mean, he was such an important... Yeah, I mean, look at how quick that is, right? Tex had the one up there, too. I mean, he crept all the way out. Just not quick enough. It will be a tie game now, as B main control is the main focus for the pack of Cloud9. You don't have to worry about that operator anymore. And this is something that we see King do quite a bit. He'll go push towards A, TP all the way back to B. And I think it's something that can be punished by the side of Cloud9 if they do their prep correctly. Every single time King started A with the Yoru in this 3-2 default, he TP'd back to B. And MIBR played into that, but Cloud9, having that footage, they understand that this A side is going to be weak.
Yeah, you imagine they're leaning into it. It's, at least it seems to be the case. A TP already through, but it's a fake.
Cloud9 are taking a little bit too long. The delay from the Tejo missiles of the side of Leviatán was enough, but the rotates still aren't here, so Leviatán aren't really favored in this round unless Cloud9 decide to pivot for no reason.
It's a deep smoke. There's no one there to see it. And now Calm is feeling all of the pressure, but it's a fake. Look at the rotations. They're all headed back towards A. Meanwhile, Cloud9 quietly try to slip the net.
It's an overcook, though. All the members of Leviatán are here. They don't have the weaponry, though.
They may not have had enough time to let this one settle. You mentioned the lighter guns. Demon wants a first to fall. Tex tries to check the smoke, and he's dispatched. There's just not enough bite behind this bark.
Yeah, the Sheriff's just not hitting quite yet. The spacing of Cloud9 on that pivot was the key factor of getting the spike planted so far. And now you're just left in a 2v5 scenario, damage being the only good thing that can come out of this. There's no way you win this round.
No, I think you cut Rossi loose there. He's one off of his ult.
He gets
Secure it into the next, yeah. It's 2 kills found.
He's cooking right now, but Net does take him out. And although Cloud9 do run into a stack, the shot's just not connecting for Leviatán. This was a big problem that they had against MIBR. They have really good reads on the rounds. They oftentimes have the number advantage, but they just cannot finish. For Cloud9, now they are taking the lead and they have a couple of initiator ultimates themselves. Some ultimates to answer back from the side of LEV.
The Rolling Thunder, King's ult too. Vic with the aggro TP across.
Yeah, he's been doing this every single round.
Yeah. I mean, if LEV don't do something to deny some of the space early on, Cloud9 are going to continue to take it for free.
And that one fault line gets the paranoia out, so you do not have to worry about that if you decide to re-hit the B site. And you're definitely going to get your fault line back for the actual hit.
Yeah. So far, slight advantage, Cloud9, at least as far as utility goes.
Just great macro so far, faking the TP in the vent as well. That's going to keep all the A players there. But there's still 3 for LEV at B.
You mentioned in the last round, I guess they guessed wrong. A lot of the teeth of the defense was B, but this time they have guns. It was not a luxury they had previously.
Yeah, guns utility. That paranoia isn't in play though. And Demon 1.
Yeah, he's going to try to get out. Rolling Thunder at the ready. Traded back. Rossi doubling down on the swing. The utility's good, but the kills do not connect. Tex is the first to fall. And somehow they've managed to avoid the majority of the brunt of this hit.
And look at all the meanwhile, Comp pushed all the way through A.
30 seconds left.
A horrific whiff.
But that's info gathered, and that's a little bit of time delayed. You've got 20 seconds left. The spike is just now making its way out towards A heaven. Are they going to pivot
They're
back?
going back again, yeah. Look at Zeppa right now.
Do you have time for this? Big kill out from Zeppa to try to hold the flood back, to be the dam they need.
10 seconds left.
And as the spike settles into the site, Net patiently waiting, looking to identify the right target. A 3v3, members battered and beaten on both sides. Zeppa at the ready though, holding the line. Demon 1 on the trade. Again, 5 HP for the initiator. 19 in between both of them.
Look at this flank, Doug.
Tom's in a really good position. Maybe doesn't connect early in the round, but hits when it matters.
Down. There.
Zeppa's been in off-season form, NRG form, some might say, but this is a borderline unwinnable 1v2. I don't know how he gets his way through this. He's going to do his damage, so Demon 1 getting it to half. The missiles will buy some time. He's going to take it all the way there. Very well done by LEV.
Rossi was talking about the experience that this roster has. Calm, having the intuition to push all the way through A there. Yeah, he does that whiff at first, but still applying that pressure on the flank, double dipping. It allows this retake to be so easy. You limit all the spots that Cloud9 can play in. Zeppa, although he's been fantastic, like you said, it's just not enough. And this back and forth will continue to just give and give. Demon 1 is shutting up all the haters that he's been uncomfortable on this controller role. He is currently 8-3, sitting at the top of the scoreboard for LEV. And it's the way that he's been playing, even the Omen TPs on the actual B site that he was doing, that makes me believe that all the work he's been putting in is showing.
Again, the fact that he survived as long as he did back B in the face of the onslaught of utility and ults and everything that was thrown his way. But he's going to have to continue that success. I think a lot of people would agree that for Leviatán to be as strong as they can be, as strong as they should be, he's a key part of that. He's integral to it.
Him and King both, right?
Yeah.
The two players that played the worst for the side of Leviatán.
Yeah.
And I think that that's a good sign for a team like this when you know your heavy hitters are just having an off day perhaps. Because once they're online, now you're contenders once more.
A lot of mid-presence and a lot of mid-control from Cloud9. Oxy connecting onto Rossi, almost hitting another. And he does.
It's all left to Demon 1 and Tex here at the B site.
King is so far removed from the play. That flash is going to buy a little bit of time. The paranoia going to connect. An aggro swing out from Tex. But one was left unchecked.
Yeah, The pinch was too much to deal with. I like the idea of getting proactive, wanting to double up, pushing B main so you don't get split on. But after Tex loses that head-to-head against Mitch, it's just over. Demon 1, he's just stuck in between, and now King, you're left to save.
Yeah, the money's not great.
So much time left, though, and Cloud9, you would imagine at least Vic would go hunting. He's sitting at $3,000 in the bank. It's going to be the Yoru head-to-head.
Oxy will have his ult online in the next round because of that kill.
Would you consider that a Yoru diff? No, right?
Nah, bro, that's tough.
That's a stretch. That's a stretch.
Yeah,
not yet.
That one's tough. Not yet.
Not yet.
How this plays out, though, I mean, who knows?
Yeah, it's been a good back and forth so far. I think we're seeing a lot of good preparation from the side of Cloud9. Just understanding that a lot of MIBR success were these crunches and overwhelming the B side of the map. And it's a great start for them because, like the desk was saying, Leviatán had a great defensive side. For Cloud9 to be in the driver's seat right now, after losing the pistol and getting only saving one gun in the bonus, they've really crawled back into this round and won a lot of gun rounds. That's that crunch. Yeah, Demon 1 has nowhere to go in this moment.
I think, I mean, a lot of the reason why they've been so successful on that crunch B is because of the mid control they've had. So you wonder at what point, if you're Lev, yeah, there is going to be a timeout. So you imagine this is going to be part of the conversation. You're losing B main for free.
Yes.
Right? Because Vic is just TPing across. There's nothing that you've been doing to condition and deny that space at the beginning. And then you're losing mid space at the beginning too. And that's where Cloud9 have been able to feint a hit A, crunch B, get through garage. And that's where all of that pressure has been coming from. So you imagine, Dre, is that where a lot of those adjustments will be?
I think so for sure, especially in the mid round, right? Like you can give the extremity control, keep acting like you're throwing the Omen smoke there and you're giving that space. But I think we will see at the other end of this timeout a mid trap play. It's something that Leviatán did quite a bit against MIBR, especially when they had a thrifty type buy. They relied on the trap utility, whether that's going to be trying to punish Oxy in the actual vent itself or maybe a mid walk. It's something that they started with in their last series. It got punished really heavily early on, and that's why you saw this game plan change for Leviatán of kind of playing more passive across the board. Now it opens up an opportunity to do some trap plays, some set plays around that mid area, or maybe even an A push that they tried previously. And for Cloud9 at the other end of this timeout, I think you're just going to freeze. You're going to hold. You don't want this one to slip away. Wait for some aggression.
Yeah, there's no telling what's waiting for you on the other side. But it doesn't seem like Lev are doing any early aggression at the beginning of the round.
Opting to just do a silent A stack here. Fake TP from Oxy onto A, but this stealth drone reclearing the info. And the proactivity from Leviatán is painting the picture that it's a lean towards B.
That pick onto Vic early.
Yeah, that's massive. He's
Nice.
finally getting punished. You were talking about it.
Yeah.
He's kind of just taking B main for free.
But I mean, yeah, I'd love to see it again. Lot here, B.
No paranoia online, by the way.
Nope. The spit's already dropped. Tex is flushed out. Demon 1 will join him, unfortunately. And it's all Cloud9.
Just completely overwhelmed, and the Teo ultimate was used as well. Sometimes when you get that first blood, it makes you believe that you have a chance. You're gonna wish that you had that one in the future rounds, Doug.
Yeah. That's a heavy investment, you're right.
You have a flank coming in here from King. He does have the only Vandal, but you imagine he's gonna get traded out here. There's no way he gets more than one.
We saw Pancata 1v4 just a moment ago. Not gonna be the case this time. He got his one that you promised. Rossi in a brutal spot. He's gonna get cleaned up at the hands of Zeppa. Cloud9 get to 5. You wonder here if some of the conversation around the timeout was for this round that we just saw, or if this is where it is. But as you were mentioning, the investment of Com's ult.
That's rough.
That's heavy.
Huge investment. We saw him put so much work in using that ultimate on the retakes. And to not have that on an important gun round like this, to
this guy's full blind
stop,
backside looking for Jesus.
To stop the snowball, it's gonna be rough. Now, I think this is going to be a full hit from Cloud9 onto A, using that Yoru ultimate to get all the info, and it's only Tex here right now. Double initiators are going to be flooding in to try to help him out, but if this Viper pit goes down on the actual site...
What a mess.
What did I just witness?
I mean, fully stunned up. Oxy still getting the kill, and yeah, traded back.
But he had the spike, Doug.
Is there any way to help them out? They have a little of this heaven control. Zeppa settles the shots on the comm, claims the kill. Rossi and Demon One, we've talked about this a few times, and Rossi's on an island. Demon One is still on the other side of the map.
It's so messy. And now it's a 2v1. Viper's Pit was used. The spike not being planted inside of that pit, though. Spike not being planted at all. Now Demon One has a little bit of space, a little bit of time to work with. Another tap of a spike.
He's got time. I don't know that he has space. He's going to have to manage the green goo. And that's difficult to do.
Just a wasted Viper's Pit as well.
He's got to play this perfectly.
I mean, he's done it before.
They've slipped the net. Whoa.
The double walk. Not allowing Demon One to have the time of day to take the fight to them, take the peaks that he wants. So although it was very chaotic, very hard to break down, Cloud9, they bring it back. The spike was stuck in back sight, Doug.
Yeah, situation that you look on the minimap and it's unwinnable.
It was so awkward. It was so awkward. But the firepower is prevailing right now from the side of Cloud9. Zeppa, again, sitting at the top, 9-6. He has his own Teo ultimate available, and Leviatán are on an eco, and oh, man. Oh, man, you hate to see it.
Do you have a quick tech pause? As soon as we figure out what's going on, we will keep you good people informed. I am being told it's audio, which is really important in a game like Valorant.
You would think.
So you can't let that one go by the wayside, and it seems like we're seeing who the culprit is on the screen. Again, once we get it figured out, we'll do so as expeditiously as possible and get back into the game. You were talking about Zeppa. Where are you seeing him net this success?
I mean, he's just following up, getting the trades that he needs for his team. He's just been that anchor for the side of Cloud9. And someone that I want to point out that although he's not doing that great in terms of score, you know, Mitch, sitting at 4-8. Doug, last year, Cloud9 were 1-4 on split. You want to know who one of those teams was that beat him? Oxygen, 13-1 with Mitch being the IGL against the old Cloud9 roster. I think this is why we saw Split come back into play for Cloud9. The confidence that this guy can bring. He's like, don't worry, I know what you guys were doing wrong. I experienced it firsthand. I'm going to fix it for you.
His calling has been exceptional. So you got to give him his credit where it's due, but it feels like just in these last couple of rounds, Cloud9 have managed to pull away, or at least create a little bit of separation between the two.
I think we've seen some good things from the side of Leviatán as well.
Oh, I agree.
I just think when the chaos ensues on some of these site hits, the trades just aren't quite there on the defensive side.
It is a little concerning. Might not be the right word. It is.
Yeah.
Maybe it is a little bit concerning. We've played 9 rounds, and the 3 that Lev have, two of them are because of the pistol that was won.
Yeah.
And so you kind of strip those away and go, okay, well, how was the rest of the half?
One gun round.
It hasn't been great.
Yes. And it's kind of a testament to what Rossi was talking about, right? It's like we need to polish our gameplay still. I feel like they have really good ideas of where they want to be. I think there's a lot to look forward to from Leviatán. But they just have to iron out some of those fundamentals, some of that synergy. And that's tough to do, week by week. By no means is this match over so far, but it clearly feels like Cloud9 are in the driver's seat to take this half away. We spoke about it earlier. It is going to be an eco round for Leviatán. So Cloud9, Bear, stuff not getting a little bit crazy and out of hand from Leviatán. They should be put at 7.
Seems like ears have been reattached, and we're getting back into the action. Again, a 6-3 lead, the way of Cloud9, the eco for Lev, as you mentioned. And look at that minor adjustment that we just saw on the minimap out from Cloud9. Vic's fake TP. He's been aggro TPing in a garage at the beginning of every round. This time a fake TP and aggression mid and 2 free kills.
Absolutely free. That fault line can't get out in time. And now you can really go anywhere. Layer your utility if you're Cloud9.
Yep.
Make sure you safely get into sight. They want to lean A. Look at the minimap.
That was an ambitious way to approach that kill. But traded back, all good.
I've never seen that. Rossi does get one. How does he do that? not going to matter, though.
No, we're seeing a lot of eco frags, and we're seeing a lot of those, like, I would argue, pointless kills. And those are coming through for Lev, but Cloud9 in firm control.
Yeah, I have to point out again the silent approach in mid. If you make any steps, if you use utility like the gate crash to get into vent, that fault line comes through. Maybe you don't get those kills. So another great call from Mitch to just silent walk up mid, catch those players off guards that are trying to pounce on the trap if there is any sound mid. And now for Lev, you're left to worry, even in the gun rounds. Are they going to do a mid walk again? Do we need eyes on this? Demon 1 will upgrade to a Vandal here, trying to get some exits.
It does feel like there are a lot of gaps in the defense for Lev. I think you're absolutely right.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, man. That's a nice one for the highlight reel, but doesn't convert to a round win. Does get the Omen ult online, though, so now you have two characters that can do a quick rotate wherever Cloud9 decide to hit. Here's that replay of the peak in the vent. Yeah, it's just too many bodies to look at.
I don't know if you caught the chat there.
I didn't see what it said. What did it say?
I didn't catch all of it, so I'm gonna let it go. I was hoping you'd seen the rest of it. Either way, Cloud9 up 4, 3 ults for the attack, and a different look. It's not the Omen presence towards B.
A commitment.
It's heavy A. The kill traded right back. Spike sitting on the ground, as they've been able to deal, or at least weather, some of the early storm from the attack.
Finally, Leviatán getting the 1-up in the trades. That stealth bot being heard makes it so Cloud9 have to go back and push back that A line even further. Otherwise, it's going to be an obvious lean towards B, but Mitch gets taken out because of it.
Big from King. That's going to try to alleviate some of the pressure on the other side of the map. And he will succeed against Demon 1.
That's such a huge 1v1.
Yeah, but you still have the pit, and you've got to flush Tex out of here. You can't leave him here. Where are you headed? Committing to getting the spike down.
I mean, maybe a plant for spawn here. You flip the map a little bit, go CT. He's going to hear these footsteps in vent, I believe, or... No, he doesn't.
Yeah, you see the pings on the minimap. A really good idea that Ned has gone exploring.
I mean, this is such a late flank. Vic has to delay for so long here.
And he's on his own.
And they know where he is.
Tex has to stay in the pit, though, concerned about where the rest of the members might be.
Great tail missiles used.
Flushed out and killed, and that's going to arrive at the party, but he's going to be a bit late.
Yeah, but they're not sticking it, Doug. He has a chance here.
I mean, you're holding 3. Maybe you stop the defuse, but Calm winning out that duel should secure things. He's going to have his ult online for the next round as well.
Yeah, good trades. Calm getting that kill onto A ramp, putting numbers in favor of Leviatán, just making it easy. It's a Viper ult play that we saw previously as well from the side of Leviatán. The punish on that type of play would be a B split, but Cloud9, Mitch, opting to go towards that A site, getting completely stuffed back to back.
It's another heavy lean A. And they have 2 really explosive ults to hit the site with.
Last time it was a double approach on A ramp. I wonder if they decide to just run it down site.
I think they have a good idea. Both teams were lighting up the minimap with pings on A.
There's the stun, the double TP, stealth drone to answer back.
All right, so they've gained a little bit of space here. They've gotten up ramps. There's a lot on the other side of this. There's that first ult invested, trying to flush him out, but Oxy's behind enemy lines. Getting 2, gone unchecked, undetected. Now Rossi's gonna trade back with a bit of his own. 2 Rolling Thunders dropped, and now silence across the map.
You look at Tex, he pushed all the way through. He has the flank, but if Cloud9 decide to pivot to B now, it's an open site.
Yeah, they're gonna flush out. The conversation then becomes what's left. Demon 1 has his ult, and he can quick get back to B.
But with the way that Leviatán have been approaching some of these retakes, they want to be grouped up. It looks like Demon 1 will start slowly shifting towards B. If he can get a pick on the cross here.
He still has full utility, by the way. Yeah. Still has his flash, still has smokes, TPs, everything.
And same with Rossi as well.
Mitch with the stun back up. Gonna find a vacant site. Demon 1 smoked off. And all of a sudden, the prospect of that is gone.
Spike planted.
Rossi's so worried about a lurk from the minimap.
He invested the flash.
It's a speed up.
And now Tex dies. They don't have a paranoia to play around anymore, and Rossi's still halfway across the map. Second smoke to use. Mitch tucking, finding a little bit of corner to play around. A crispy shot out from Demon 1. Still a 2v2 to play around, though. TP invested. Trying to divide the attention of the attack. That's Snappy, leaving things in a 1v1. Captains clashing on the site, the last round of the half. Footsteps aplenty, and Rossi has no options to play around. Vic has played this beautifully. Cloud9 get to 8.
Vic has been a rising star for Cloud9. He's looked more and more comfortable being a part of this roster. He has so much talent. We saw him devastate the tier 2 seed, and to see him clutch like that is amazing.
This was Oxy playing spoiler. Again, managing to get behind them, getting 2 free kills. And yeah, Rossi did his best to respond, gets a couple of kills of his own, gets down to the 1v1, but just does not go Leviatán's way, and that feels like that's been the case for the entire half. 8-4 for Cloud9. We're gonna take a quick break.
It's for you. Do you like it? Come on, Charlie, use your new door. Come on, let's go. I said go. Let's go. Silly dog. I'm gonna trade you for a cat. Red Bull gives you wings.
The new Red Bull Zero is here. 100% wings with monk fruit extract.
Cloud9 had Leviatán's number for that entire half. Again, it's an 8-4 score at halftime. 2 of those rounds were because Lev won that pistol. So it really has been all Cloud9 here, Dre.
Yeah, I think it was just a full dismantling, a countering, and that's the benefit of not showing a map like this and then busting it out. You get to see Leviatán's entire defensive side. That's why Cloud9 chose to go on attack.
Now it's Lev who are going to test their mettle on that side of the ball.
Yeah, it's really interesting because usually when Leviatán go for the 1-3-1 default like this, it's Rossi in B main using a fault line that hits all of male and vent.
Well, this time he's across the middle of the map.
Yeah.
Rolling with the pack. There's a lot on the other side of that smoke. They have to be careful. If you face check this, they try. Vic's there to get a first, but calm. A great response, ultimately falling to the missiles. And it's Bedlam. As the round slows down, the spike is scooped up, and Rossi immediately falls, putting it right back down. Demon 1 had an incredible pistol to open the map, but he's going to have to do it again with the classic.
Yeah, he does have paranoia online as well. If he could find the 1v1 against Mitch, maybe you can argue he has a chance into this, but with the way that Cloud9 have been playing doubled up,
yeah, there's no... I think that's the difference.
It feels like it's going to get traded instantly. He's taking the long route around. I feel like he made a step right there.
Shadows traveling.
No pings on the
30
minimap.
seconds left.
It doesn't seem like they know. They have no idea.
Oh, they actually thought that he was going to go from bottom mid, I think, with those tail missiles being used.
Well, the fact that the smoke went ropes would suggest he was coming up mid. He has found a window.
He's done it.
He's found a window, but he's got to hurry up now. He doesn't realize the trap is in the smoke.
Yeah.
Oxy gets his third. Cloud9 get the pistol.
I mean, he definitely confused Cloud9, but
he did.
There's just not enough time on that clock. And the trade's going in favor. I got to point out Oxy there, peeking A main into Tex and just taking him out right away as this mid flurry was coming. It allows him to pivot, not have to worry about his back anymore, and that's why Rossi just gets taken out for free.
Khan played that so well, getting those 2 kills mid, but the utility was the difference maker there.
Yeah, it really came down to that 50-50 of Tex. If Tex can get that kill against Oxy, maybe you have an opening to go back towards A site, but no. Leviatán trying to get quick B main information. Instead, King gets taken out quickly. Orb was gathered though, so at least Leviatán building closer to that Tejo ultimate. And Net is in mid with a judge.
And an Orb keeping them apart.
4 players of LEV at the other end of this mid. Stealth drone. Only sees one there. And the never-ending cycle of smokes on mid-split.
I'm so glad they're rotating away. I thought we were going to see something that wasn't family-friendly there.
Yeah. The thing is look at what you're rotating into.
Yeah, it doesn't get much better, does it?
Paranoia, fault line. All off a contact of a jiggle. Here we go. What an opener.
It's Tex. He's usually good for it. Stuns and missiles delivered. Payload not connecting. And the judge has arrived. That spit's going to cause some problems. Flush him out of the corner. Force him into the fights. And it's fights that Cloud9 will gladly take.
Decoy.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of conversation. We talked about it at the beginning of the show, Dre, about who really are this LEV team, right? Because you look at their losses, and again, 2 losses, I believe, against MIBR. Yeah, 2 losses against MIBR, and then a loss to G2, who just came in 2nd place at Bangkok. So you look at that and you go, okay, they've lost, yes, but it's against really good teams. So we don't really know how good they are. I know it's only split, and I know it's Cloud9's map pick, but it seems like they're well ahead of the curve here.
Yeah, I mean, Cloud9 are that underdog team, the dark horse, some would say, in this tournament. They've looked really good. I don't think this team gets enough praise because of all, the drama behind roster moves and whatnot in the offseason.
Outlaw, let's go!
But they've clearly figured something out, and this team just works together so well. Oxy is finally having that breakout moment that we know him for last year. He really hasn't had to pop off. This time he's sitting at 16-10.
Wise with her money. Big swing out from King, though.
Spike down, B.
Again, that tit for tat, that 1 for 1, not really adding up for Cloud9 here.
I have the spike.
It is the bonus, though, and Leviatán decide to cut noise right now after getting the better of that exchange. Tex still sitting so far back at A. I feel like if he was a little bit more confident, maybe he would creep up a little bit more, but he's just going to wait for his team.
Oh, I think that makes a ton of sense. Given all the noise and pressure that was B, oftentimes that's a timing that a lurk will take, right? So Tex is just waiting, and unfortunately for him, that gift will never come. No, quick through all of that, Mitch did manage to upgrade a weapon, so now he has a Bulldog to play around.
Looks like they want to flank, but they're flanking the wrong site, so there should be a free spike planted for Leviatán. Cloud9, they're so far away, Doug. By the time they get here, the spike is already going to be halfway to blowing up. I say that as Leviatán are still just going towards A ramp. They're a little bit scared to walk into the A site.
That's all 3 weapons upgraded. That was a Ghost, and I believe 2 Buckies that have been exchanged for a Bulldog, 2 Bulldogs and a Phantom. And all this time that you were just talking about, Dre, is running out because the space that they had previously created amongst each other is now gone.
Yeah.
The spike is going to go down, and they're here.
And without any information being gathered towards spawn and A heaven,
this could be a mess.
Yeah, the flank could come in and actually...
King's close by, but Rossi's looking the wrong way. It's a lot on his shoulders. The paranoia in his face. Tries to spam and connect. 3 found for King. Disaster averted. Leviatán get their 5th.
He wasn't shooting against MIBR, but he showed up today. 13 kills apiece for the IGL, Demon 1 and King. Tech's the one struggling this time around, but it doesn't matter because they convert this round win.
One enemy.
He got that kill fully flashed.
Yeah.
The first one was easy, but
enemy remaining.
yeah.
Full commit on the spray. He would have gotten traded anyway from Rossi in A Heaven. But you're starting to see the Leviatán players get a little bit more comfortable the second time around on this composition, on these roles.
That was their bonus. They were supposed to win that one.
Mm-hmm.
If there is going to be reason for hope, if there's going to be a glimmer, it has to start here for Lev.
So much utility used on the site. Vic avoiding all of it.
You've got Mitch close by, though. Net? What? And now Vic fills on the space that he was previously flushed out of. They gained nothing out of that.
He got away with a quick one there. I mean, if King could have settled the spray right there, surely Net dies. He was full flashed. Bit of a caster's curse, huh? Gets a 3K into a whiff like that. And Oxy, he's pushed all the way up at A here. How many can he get, though?
And
is he going to get traded out quickly?
He does have a TP set up. He can get his one and then get out. Beautifully done.
So sick. Still 3 members of Cloud9 so far away. The Omen ult to rotate in, though.
But they have the advantage. Oxy, if he gets any, was icing on the cake. Ultimately cannot. But Vic does. A 4v2 reinforcement starting to arrive. The spike still not planted in time, running out. They all crumble as Cloud9 get to 11.
All those kills accumulated from the pistol, from the bonus from Vic, pays out to that Omen ultimate, and he's able to quick rotate onto the A site. So although there was 3 members stacked here in the beginning of the round for Cloud9, the forward aggression from Oxy TPing back into spawn allows for Vic to get there, and Zeppa just cleans up house. It's just good team play and fundamentals from the side of Cloud9. Leviatán now, their last time out. Keep in mind, Cloud9 still have 2 in the chamber. They haven't used a single one. They've had no need to. They've been in control. They've been in the driver's seat of this match.
They've been in the driver's seat. Emmy's been hands off the wheel. And it's just been cruise control through all the split. Again, Lev have 5 rounds, and 2 of them are courtesy of the pistol.
And they struggled so much last time on their attacking side as well. I think that Cloud9, what lead that they were able to gather just makes it so oppressive for Lev. It just feels like, yeah, you've won 3 out of the last 4. Or you've lost 3 out of the last 4. It just feels like you're just choked right now.
Yeah.
You're scared to make a move. You're scared to make a round-winning play. You don't want to make any mistakes because you have to play near perfect to make this comeback.
Yeah, I think you can look at the other side of that coin as well and go, well, we're down by a ton. Roll the die a little bit and maybe take an aggro peek and try to do something to be a spark. Vic denying all of that B garage space already. Back to his antics from the first half.
Stealth drone did get a bunch of info towards A ramp for the side of Leviatán, but it's the 1-3-1 with the breach in mid.
Which I'm surprised, given on the other side of the timeout, that the approach is the same. Either way, they're trying to fly their way into B Heaven. Armageddon drop. Mitch will manage to get out and immediately fell back in behind it. He's ahead of this timing. The smoke is going to keep him back, but he's in a position to make a play. Pops out, gets his one, falls, but Ned is way more successful. It's a slaughter again.
Demon 1 left alone in a 1v4. And Vic was playing so far back from the start of the round. Leviatán thought they had all the corners checked. They used so much utility to gather that space. They weren't expecting the complete disruption of Cloud9. The pace in which they just decided to take the fight to
30 seconds left.
I loved it. And I mean, you saw it on the minimap. As soon as that tick of the Armageddon passed, Mitch filled right back in behind it. I mean, he was chasing the thing down just to get into an aggressive position so he can get a timing on that fight. That was gorgeous by Cloud9.
And it's plays that you look at it and you're like, oh, that shouldn't work. He just ran through a smoke against 4 players. But this is been a huge success for Cloud9. You look at that NRG matchup, they didn't let NRG breathe, Doug. They were flooding on retakes. This time they don't even have to flood when the actual tap of the spike is going through. They're just gonna go right after those Teo missiles are there and completely disrupt you.
A little bit of frustration there out from Ito, but for good reason.
Yeah, and this is something that Leviatán need to be aware of, though, in the future maps, too, if they want to make a comeback. Cloud9 love to flood through smokes. You need to be dialed in those moments, and now King, using that Yoru ultimate, getting all of B Heaven control.
They used the drone through B main as well, so all attention drawn this way. Investments aplenty. He ulted on the other side of this. You should be able to find 2 stun members. Yeah, the spam through the smoke connects onto Mitch. And finally, a little bit of breathing room for Lev.
King getting a second to the round as well, sitting down the operator of Oxy. And I would imagine this is going to be a hard save. At least one person getting that operator, bringing it into the next round. But wait a second.
I don't know that you save. You all have over 4,000 credits. Go take the fight.
It's all falling apart right now.
Let Vic be the dagger. Zeppa and Net still stand. And they're starting to creep forward. King will fall. Assassination Sal, Tex on the trade. A 1v2 from Zeppa to close out the map.
He's done it so many times this year alone.
Time is short, though. He's going to have to deal with the smoke. Tex waiting on the other side, and as the spike ticks away, options run out. Is he going to have enough time for the defuse? No. Heroics, but Lev stay alive.
Yes, but the implications of the damage that Zeppa and the rest of Cloud9 just did, they're putting themselves in such a good spot to close this map out. The buy is going to be scrappy, and you have no choice. You have to full commit. Here's some of the highlights of King getting those kills. But you're right, the economy was so good for Cloud9. Why not do as much damage as possible? And this opens up what you're about to see on your screen right now. Oxy with an outlaw in his hands. Look at the armor right now, Doug, from the side of Leviatán.
It's not great.
That being said, the main pack of Leviatán are towards this B in mid area, and Tex, he's been playing so far back.
He's been playing really far back, and I know I've mentioned it a few times, but I love the way Vic has been using his utility to play mind games through controlling B main.
Yeah, it basically forces you to use extra utility, and now you don't have that for the hit.
Yeah, the fake TPs that he was doing on the first half, now doing it on the second half to suggest that he's taking it. Meanwhile, King is taking the fight to Zeppa's doorstep. It's a lot of pressure for Net. Somehow staying alive.
Too much utility used right there. Zeppa. Stuns are real this time around. And it's a freeze to the round, but proactivity from the side of Cloud9, wanting to even numbers. Rossi, be careful, buddy.
Crispy shots on the first. Nicely done, but traded back. Still the advantage, though, for Lev. They're going to rotate back towards B, and there's no info that they have there. I mean, you can maybe assume that Mitch is given the space back, but he just got a kill onto Rossi here.
Yeah, you just have to play the numbers game at this point. That's what Leviatán are going for. Mitch, he's going to have to come up huge for Cloud9, but Demon 1 absolutely drops him. Free
Salvo's back sight, the TP through, and you're right, it's free. They should be able to get the spike down, and Oxy and Net going to have a lot to do.
I think now is when you consider maybe not going for it. Vic has literally $0 in the bank. He's used all his money.
I mean, maybe you send Oxy because he's got an outlaw, but you imagine Net's going to want to keep his gun.
Yeah, Oxy picks up Zeppa's gun from the punishment that was happening in Vent from Lev. That was a nice default into mid. The fault line hitting Zeppa. He wasn't really able to settle that. So a little bit of life from the side of Leviatán. I like how they played the numbers game. I like how they waited for some re-aggression from the side of Cloud9. And then, you know, having pack mentality, making sure that they don't get 3K sprayed down or anything like that.
Yeah, the problem is the little bit of life that we're seeing out from Lev, it's fake. It's fake life. You take a look at Mitch's, he's, what, 2 pips off of his ult. Net is a pip off of his ult.
Yeah.
And I want to say that Deho is pretty close by as well. So even if they manage to get a couple of these rounds together, once you get to the point where all of those ults are hitting at once, that's really hard to navigate around.
And I think you're absolutely correct. I think Cloud9 are definitely saving up all these ultimates to just use at the right opportunity. Just close this map out. That's a cheeky little stat from Vic. He's leading in assists per round for VCT Americas. But he's also been having a banger of a map so far. He's 18-3. He's doing it all today. Finally, Tex has been tested towards that A main side of the map. The reaction from Leviatán is a little bit more of B main pressure.
Which is really what Tex is there to do, right? If you feel a lot of the aggression from A main, you play the push and pull game and you go elsewhere. But they didn't really invest much. And so Cloud9 are still in a spot where they can take a step back. They still have utility to play around this net in a really big spot. That's a flash on the other side. He still gets a kill. Oh. Dinks onto the second. Damage dealt.
1-for-1s, though, usually tend to favor the attacking side. And that TP from Oxy, it's not even close to the A site where all 4 members, or all 3 members of Leviatán are at right now. Demon 1, he has that Omen ultimate online. Could TP back site, regroup with his team if he wants to.
A little bit of damage dealt, and Demon 1 showing his presence was not enough for Cloud9 to take the bait and rotate B.
Scatter.
There's that Omen ult I was talking about to regroup with the squad, but Leviatán, the time is running low, Doug. They need to be careful.
There are only 2 members here, though, and one of them just got flushed out. Vic will join him, and now the site is theirs.
Wow. What a great call from whoever it was on the side of LEV, whether it was Rossi or Com, to flush out that little corner, get a free kill of utility. It's something that Leviatán do really well, is chaining their abilities together and punishing players caught out like that. So to see that this deep into this map, it's buying them a chance.
Yeah, again, this feels all
Still
good.
A lot of ults. Still a lot of ults.
Yeah, this feels all good and fine and dandy for Lev, and there's a little bit of hope, and so maybe there's a chance. But you take a look at the right side of your screen,
yeah,
and that is ominous.
The scariest part about it is whenever Cloud9 decided to take this time out, maybe it's after this round, and Imi just says, hey,
it's time.
Leviatán have been doing a 1-3-1 mid almost every single round that they've won. Let's initiate the trap. It might just be enough to take Cloud9 over the edge and close out this map win.
There's that little combo of utility that you mentioned to flush out the kill.
It's something that Leviatán do really well. He just knew they were there. Here's that timeout, though, that I was talking about. So maybe now, opportunity for Imi to settle, come up with a game plan for some of these ultimates to be used in some following rounds.
Bro, you imagine this is where the ticking time bomb goes off, right? This is where they draw up that breach ult, Deho ult, mid, complete slaughter.
Just so much utility. It's gonna be an absolute fiesta on our monitors.
I mean, I think the one maybe saving grace is Cloud9 might not have enough money to fully buy, if I'm not mistaken, and so, you know, maybe it's delayed a round longer or 2 potentially, but I think until they get past all of those ults, I have a hard time believing they're ever going to be able to pull this off.
Yeah. Gotta take it 1 round at a time right now if you are Lev, though.
Yeah, agreed.
Try to contact, try to bait out some of these ultimates as well. That is your win condition if you're Leviatán. Can I bait out these ults and not get punished at the same time? But look at the mini-map. Look at where everyone is gearing up towards. There's 3 members, a fighting squad for Cloud9 here at A, and all 5 members of Leviatán are about to face it.
We mentioned it at during the timeout. The money's funny. You wonder here, if you're Cloud9, how much are you willing to invest? If you're given an inch, do you take the whole damn round?
That's the double-edged sword, though. Sometimes when you get that pick, it's what we saw Leviatán do when they got a kill right away. Wasting that Teo ultimate was calm, right?
Yep.
Gotta be careful here.
A lot of noise made, eh?
So much utility.
Missiles, fakes, TPs, paranoias, and that might be the cue. Mitch getting the opener onto King. Big trade back from Calm, though. How much more can they get here? Tex is gonna fall. Oh, they forget about the ults. They're just gonna frag their way through this. Zeppa holding the line from heaven. Falls to Rossi, who's now gonna have to figure out a 1v3 to keep this map alive. And again, Mitch still has his ult.
And they saw him as well. They know he's in heaven right now. all members of Cloud9 grouping up here. Net from that vent with a stinger. Upgrades from the side of Vic and Mitch, like you said. And they have the Breach ultimate. You definitely invest it here. You have this one in the bag.
He doesn't have Spike. He doesn't have a ton of time.
But it is Rossi, the old IGL of Cloud9, up against 3. If he wins this,
that's a big if.
But how crazy would it be?
Committing to getting the Spike down. He might get the plan off. He will. The stun to buy a little bit of time. Shut.
Oh my God, he almost did it, Doug.
Not even close. Not even close. Mitch will get the defuse. Cloud9 take map 1, 13-8. And again, for as much as Lev put together a lot of exciting stuff towards the end of that map, Dre, it really felt like it was Cloud9's from the beginning.
Yeah, that attacking side, you could clearly see there's a lot of thought into it, counter-stratting. That's the benefit of being able to watch a team play a map and you concealing yours. And we didn't know what to expect from the side of Cloud9. Like I said, last year they were 1-4 on the map of Split. But Mitch joining this team, giving them a new look on this map, giving them new life on Split, furthering the map pool. Cloud9 are shaping up to be such a dark horse in this tournament.
Yeah, they've got a lot of things clicking for them. Again, it was their map pick, and I think if there were any questions that are yet to be answered, they are going to be answered on Ascent. Right? You would think Cloud9 will have the advantage. That's exactly how Split played out. We'll see if map 2 holds a bit of the same. We'll see you guys on the other side of this break.